Hey everybody, welcome back to Gone Outdoor Radio. You are listening to Kello News Talk, or KWSN, or KFGO, the mighty 790. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agri, Brewer Agri Outdoors. And we're going to chat with a friend of ours, Mr. Scott Mackenthun. He is the Lakeville Area Fisheries Supervisor with the Minnesota DNR. He is a writer. He is a parent. He is an outdoor guru. He does everything there is in the outdoors. How are you doing, Scott?
Hey, I'm doing well. Boy, with that kind of introduction, I feel like it got me on cloud nine. I don't know if I'm all those things, but thank you for the kind words.
Well, either you're all those things or you're very good with Photoshop, because your social media photos show you doing all kinds of various things. It doesn't seem like you're doing the same thing every week, which is good. Good for you, good for your family, because you bring your family out for a lot of this stuff. But first off, which we might talk a little bit about that towards the end, but first off, there's so much stuff going on in southern Minnesota, late summer, great big events. Let's talk about them a little bit. Last couple of weekends in the North Metro was Game Fair. I was to Game Fair personally probably 35 years ago, and I haven't been back since. Why does somebody need to go to Game Fair if you're an outdoorsman?
Oh boy, Game Fair is fantastic. Boy, I'm trying to remember how many years they've been in operation. I think when I last visited a couple of years ago, they were coming up on a milestone year. I want to say it was 50. But boy, the Delaney family has continued to run that. It's at the Armstrong Ranch, the historic Armstrong Ranch. It's a set of training kennels. They conceived of this idea after being at a European game fair and seeing it over there, brought it over here, and it is like the namesake thing. If you hunt anything just a little bit, you have to go check out Game Fair. It is such an awesome collection of talented people and products and destinations and trainers and seminar speakers, you name it. It's everything all at once. So whether you're a deer hunter, a waterfowl hunter, an upland hunter, conservation organizations are there. The DNR is there. Everybody is there. So get up to Game Fair in Ramsey, Minnesota, and check that out. It's always the first Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and second Friday, Saturday, Sunday in August. So that's worth checking out. That's a big one. Of course, we've got lots of county fairs. I know working for DNR, we've got fish to deliver. So we were busy doing that at lots of county fairs. I know our office provides fish for about 5 different county fairs, and just wrapped up the last one at the Steele County Fair, which is the largest county fair in the nation. Lots of folks get out that way. And then, of course...
What do you mean you're delivering fish for the county fair?
So we have places where we partner with either the Fair Association or with typically an Isaac Walton League or another sportsman's group, and they will put out tank displays or floor displays like built into the ground with fish and water. So they'll pay the freight on setting up the infrastructure, and then the DNR will come in and deliver fish. And not every county fair has this. I was born and raised in McLeod County area. My grandfather was on the fair board. We always brought, I was a farm kid, so we brought cattle and hogs to the fair. And now as an older person, up until last year, I brought fish to the McLeod County Fair, and that was a fantastic fish display there, one of the best, I would argue. And now we're still doing that at a lot of different county fairs. It's largely a southern Minnesota thing because the roots of county fairs are agricultural exhibitions, so they're in the agricultural regions of Minnesota. But we bring fish to county fairs. When I started interning in northern Minnesota, I would ask those offices, "Hey, are you guys bringing fish to the fair?" And they look at me kind of funny, and I realized, oh, this isn't everywhere. But when you do find it, it can be a special thing for kids to get out, ask questions about the fish, see the fish, and then of course the granddaddy of them all is the state fair with the giant fish pond there, and that started last Thursday. So we're underway already. This is the first weekend, and then of course you have next weekend as well.
Yeah, and you put on meaning the DNR, put on quite a display at the Minnesota State Fair. This is one of the things I remember seeing as a kid attending the fair. I've seen it as an adult. There's got to be a lot of work that goes into setting up all the aquariums in that great big pond. How much time in terms of, the preparation and the planning and getting the fish in there does that take before the fair actually opens its gates?
Well, the fish actually go in about 2 days before the fair begins, and they're taken out the day after it ends, so after Labor Day. So they have a little over 2 weeks of residence time there, or right around 2 weeks of residence time there. And then, of course, like you mentioned, the rest of the year we've got people working out there, setting up probably a week in advance or so, getting everything in place. Plumbing is looked over, everything sort of squared away, and it's quite an undertaking. But boy, I mentioned that background of mine of bringing animals to the county fair. Well, I used to do the same thing at the state fair, and my favorite part was to go to that fish pond before my 4-H or FFA curfew was up, and I had to be back at the dormitories. And right around sundown, there'd be way less people, and you didn't have to wait, 3 rows deep to see the fish. You could stand there in the evening and just kind of look at all of them, and that was my favorite thing. And now it kind of comes full circle. I get to tell people about those fish.
Amen. Hey, Scott, do those fish live somewhere else the rest of the year? Are they kept in captivity, or are they actually taken out of wild sources and brought right to the fair?
It's a little bit of both, actually. Most of those fish are kept at a DNR pond that is behind a fence at Warner Road in St. Paul. So we do have fish that have made multiple appearances at the fair and will continue to do so, some of our longer-lived species. And then over time, we can sometimes supplement those efforts and go try to sample certain other fish that we want to have on display that maybe we don't have as many when we seine out that pond in St. Paul. So we get a little bit from the wild, and we get a little bit from our own pond that we return those fish to each year.
Do you know how many different species are in the DNR pond at the Minnesota State Fair this year?
Oh boy, I want to say we've got right around 50 different species. It's a little bit of a rounded guess. Of course, we've got 168 different fish species in Minnesota, depending on which of the invasives you all count or don't count. But yep. Many of those are very small in size when you think about minnows and darters and that sort of thing. So when you start thinking about larger bodied fish, that's a pretty fair representation of about almost everything we have in the state.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, Scott, I got one more question for you, and we only got about a minute left. I wanted to get to this. As a parent and an outdoor mentor of school-age kids, how do you keep them in tune with the outdoor world when life gets busy for them right now? School is starting. Their life is getting busy. How do you keep them interested in the outdoors for the next 9 months?
Honestly, to me, it's as simple as you're making time, you're scheduling time. And I think if the outdoors is something that's going to happen just by accident, it's not always going to be there. There isn't going to be time. You're going to get busy. Making time, scheduling time becomes very important. Looking ahead on my calendar with school underway for the kids here and everything getting going, our summer coming to an end and fall rearing up here, there's already dates in the calendar for us to do things. Of course, Minnesota's MEA weekend is the state youth hunt, deer firearms youth hunt. That's in the calendar. A few other weekends to get out, Minnesota waterfowl hunting weekend, or I'll plan to take my daughter out pheasant hunting a couple of times. So making time is so critically important. You only have so much time with those kids. You have the rest of your life to get out there and do things for yourself. Make that time, put it in the calendar.
Great advice. This is Scott Mackenthun. He is with the Minnesota DNR. Thank you very much, Scott, for coming on Gone Outdoors.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Stick around. We will be back with the second half of today's Gone Outdoors after this short break.